I can't wait to say what it's going to be, but that's kind of a fun thing for me this week. So, not to mention all the other business going on. So, Eric, what day is it? Did you figure that one out this morning, or
Yep.
were you?
Yep. Nope. Today it says it kind of. I don't know. I don't know if I like this one. It says National Paper Airplane Day.
All right. I used to make paper airplanes all the time when I was younger, man. And they started getting a little bit more intricate. The wings started getting a little clipped. I mean, and they started. It was amazing how you start doing aerodynamics on a piece of paper.
You know the overlook over Skull Valley.
Yeah.
We go out there with the kids, and they'd throw them off the side, and then the wind would catch them, and they would fly right back at us.
Oh, really? Like a boomerang?
Yeah, no, just paper airplanes because of the updraft.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, but that's always fun to do that out there.
Eric, some of the favorite pastimes in the back time, we obviously didn't have the internet. We obviously didn't have all the cool things out there. And so we used to have those little sticker Wii things where you pull one off and you throw it and it gets stuck on the person's clothing, their hair. I mean, it was an amazing, like, fun time for us. That's the type of fun we had.
Prehistoric internet, right? That's tagging somebody in a post.
Yes. And then now what we're doing is having people with droids and droids, right? Is that what they call them?
Drones.
Drones, not droids, drones. And so that's new era stuff right there, man. I'm kind of like really, really impressed by some of the new technology that's out there. And for a freaking $55, you can have yourself a drone, Eric.
That's crazy. I didn't realize they were that cheap now.
They are. They're very, very inexpensive, and they're also like durable from what they're saying. But then again, anything that's falling from 50 feet from the sky is bound to do something wrong with it. So
I love it. Hey, so San Martin, I got to do a shout out to Dawn Fry. Their group yesterday are the ones that went out to the Veterans Cemetery and put all the miniature flags out there. And they were doing that early in the morning till midday, and there was a lot of volunteers, a lot of people doing that, and that's just awesome. I mean, nobody gets paid for that. Everybody was out there doing their own thing, so every single gravesite could have a miniature flag on it for Memorial Day. So that is awesome. So that's so great. We've got people in the community like that.
That is great. That's amazing that everybody could do something like that, and I think that's awesome. I actually seen a little bit of that. I just didn't know if Don Fry was the person that was initiating the whole thing. So. Thank you. Appreciate it. Don't cry. You're an amazing person for doing it. Obviously, I think one of the things that happened is that Memorial Day fell in during COVID. So a lot of the county events closed down. I don't know if you've seen it downtown, Eric, this weekend, but it was packed. It was packed. I got word from some waitresses, saying that they obviously have a 9-to-5 job. They made more money in the 2 days than they did in a full week at work this weekend. So that's awesome to hear. But obviously another skeptical thing for people to think about. For the COVID-19. I mean, we're still in COVID-19.
Yeah. It didn't go away, right?
Yeah. So I mean, all those thoughts were in the back of my head. It was still there. It was still like. Coherent. I mean, but then I see people. My first instinct is to stick my hand out, as I've always done in my entire life. Stick my hand out, give the person a handshake with my, locking eyes, man. It's an eye to handshake, acknowledging men to men, whatever it may be. But it felt good. I am not gonna lie, and I did have a little bit of fear, but it was just because who wouldn't have a little bit of fear?
Hey. That cautiousness is healthy. That's the word I'm looking for. So again, I think it's great. All this stuff is reopened. If you saw some of the pictures nationwide where people are on top of each other at swimming holes and things like that, that's just crazy. But I mean, as long as people are smart about it, sitting away from each other, wearing masks where they're supposed to, I mean, yeah, we can reopen and we can do it right. So as long as we're smart.
Yeah, as long as definitely we're smart, and that's the number one goal. We want to be smart. So. We have so much stuff to talk about. So Eric, we finally got the final park fire update, and that thing was put out very, very quick. Even during
they were on it. Like that was impressive, right? Bringing in that heavy material and those heavy movers, that was like beyond impressive.
that could be something that could be for the future of just the fire. Buy some of those damn things, man. Those things are earth movers, man. They move into earth. So that was actually pretty cool to see something like that. I mean, let's think about it. I mean, that could be actually a possibility where if they have some mining equipment, that thing could actually do some, breaking some fires real quick.
And San Martin, I was actually off-roading this weekend. Was it southwest of town, up in the Prescott National Forest? And I don't know if everybody knows, but they were closed out Copper Basin and way out by Thumb Butte for a while during COVID to do some clearing. And I thought it was just going to be some minor clearing, but they did some serious clearing back in there. Like I was blown away by what they accomplished over the last couple of months and how good it's cleared back there. Just because if there's a fire that's going to come and devastate this town, it's going to come from over there. And so the Forestry Service worked really hard during March and April to thin the tree lines and everything else up there.
Yeah, they're definitely, fire safety is fire safety. I mean, everybody has their pros and cons to the fire danger, but some of the stuff is actually working and helping us out. And let me go ahead and give you the final report, guys. Investigators from the Yavapai County Sheriff's Office have concluded their investigation into the cause of the park fire in Baghdad area. The fire burned 65 acres near East Park in Baghdad. The fire caused partial evacuations in Baghdad and came within 20 yards of structures. Different agencies, a spotter plane and slurry bomber were required to combat the flames and get the fire under control. As a result of their efforts, there was no loss of life in injuries or loss of structures. The estimated cost of fighting the fire is over $30,000, and that was just 2 days, Eric. Following the investigation, it was discovered the blaze was human caused. Unbelievable. This is not going to be good. And unfortunately, oh my gosh, investigators discovered it was 5 juveniles ranging in age from 11 to 15 years old. Oh gosh. So here, this is like, are you monitoring your kids?
17, I don't know if it's in that article, and I could be wrong here, but I heard they charged the oldest with a felony.
Let's see what we would keep reading. All 5 of the juveniles will be charged with reckless burning and misdemeanor, and the 5th-year-old will be charged with tampering with a witness, a Class 6 felony for attempting to keep the witness from incriminating him.
Wow.
Oh gosh, man, this is like a movie right here, man. I'm telling you, we are getting inspired from movies on movies on movies with the life that we're living right now. I mean, this is insane. This is kind of crazy. Eric, you sent me a report from another news agency this week, and you're like, "Are we in the movies?" And I was just like, "Man, I don't know. I can't wait for the next chapter." But thanks to the heroic actions of our public safety professionals, the situation turned out much better than it could have. Yeah, thank God, man. That's insane. But the kid did get charged, like you said, Eric, with felony. But it wasn't for the fire. It was from trying to
witness tampering. Yeah, you said how old was he?
15. It was
15. Witness tampering. Wow.
Yeah, that's insane. Like, who does that, man? And you know what, Eric? It happens. We've all been kids. I think that, obviously setting a fire in our forest is not a good thing, but putting ridicule on this child and causing his life to be like bad for the rest of his life, I don't see that being a positiveness. I mean, there's a chance of them all to be, to learn from this. I mean, let's just be honest. Let's learn from this and move on. Don't put these kids on a pitchfork and lynch them. We don't want to lynch you guys. Don't lynch these kids. They mess up. Everybody messed up. And if you don't consider yourself perfect, I hate to be you. And I did say that on live. Okay, so Eric, this past week has been a drawn out thing with the Dells, man. And so I don't know if you've been watching this, but this has been, like, once again, a very, very big scenario for the city of Prescott and also surrounding areas and also developers. And they finally came to a conclusion, Eric. So the letter of intent was brought from Arizona Eco Development and Jesse. I really honestly need to learn how to say his name. But he ended up, I actually interviewed him and we talked about this whole development. And, one of the things that I felt is that when you own property, it's your property. You invested, you bought it, it's yours. What can you do with that property? I mean, you honestly got to honor your neighbors, and that's kind of what I'm thinking what's happening here. He actually lives in Prescott with him and his children, his whole family. He lives here, and he wants to see the quality of life stay in the area with the great intent of making sure that our area is not the place where we're just going to be free flowing. Let's go ahead and just ruin our natural ecosystem by bringing a ton of people. Although there is going to be a massive amount of homes that are being built throughout now in 10 years, from what my understanding is, and that's up to in year 5,000 homes. But if you guys are really, really watching, there's already huge amount of development already happening based out of Prescott Valley doing and in between Prescott Valley and Prescott. So you got all these like major developments that are going down, and they're being built. I mean, hands down, they're being built. Now the moderation of the building is a big deal for a lot of us Presbyterians. And from what is shown, the city council is also given that care. So they said, from what I'm gathering, when I spoke to the Mayor Pro Tem of Prescott and also the Mayor Ellie, is that the growth of Prescott is inevitable. They said. But they can do it in moderation. It's not going to be a overnight, let's build 5,000 homes, which it can be done, but they're not going to do it. They're going to do it in moderation, stop, check it out, make sure that everything's fine. But let's see what happens, guys, because as of right now, our town could have been like way bigger. Right, Eric? I mean, like everybody loves Prescott.
I
The
know.
cost of living is going up.
I mean, how many times do you see a day in the local groups? Hey, I'm moving to Prescott tomorrow. I'm moving to Prescott next month. I hear it constantly too. But I mean, we talk a lot, but you're right. The growth is inevitable. I mean, I've been in Arizona my whole life, and you told me a council member said that water is plentiful, and I have never heard that statement anywhere in Arizona my entire life. And so I worry about water. I really do. I mean, it's not like we can just pump all the water up from the Colorado River up 5,000 feet up the mountain, So I always worry about water, my friend.
Yeah, and as everybody should. I mean, it's Arizona. We need to worry about water. Mayor Pro Tem has assured us that we do have great water in our waterways. So do we go by that, Eric, or do we not go by that? That's going to be the ticket. Do we actually say, we hear you and listen to the developers and the people that are actually looking at our water system? I mean, who's to say, Eric? I don't got my eyes down on that water table. But the provision of water and sewer utilities by the city to the AED, the city provides AED 753 acre-feet of city potable water for development, as shown on the AED water use overview below. So this is what the trade is from what the letter of intent. I'll go ahead and put that out on a news release today, guys, so you guys can actually see what I'm talking about.
And San Martin, all the parties, including Save the Dells, the City Council, and AED, everybody has endorsed the plan. So far, everybody has said it's not perfect, but everybody's agreed to it.
Yeah, and so I remember in the proposal that the Dells was proposing 800 of acres donated to the saving of the recreational area, and they didn't want any housing to be built next to that trail. And obviously, there is going to be a housing right through that trail, and also they actually had a hotel situated right on that trail as well. But they were going to make it look very beautiful, from what the understanding was. So if you guys do not know what I'm talking about, or if you need to get any information, I will go ahead and be posting it today. So you can go ahead and see all of that information. But that just happened, and I just got an email this morning saying that we are going to be talking to Mayor Pro Tem about this in depth. So we can go ahead and ask her the question. So if you guys have any questions about what is actually happening, what is going down, let's go ahead and put it on paper, and we'll ask about it, guys. We'll really ask about it. So anyways, the resort location will be consistent with the city general plan designation, which once again, they already put out the mapping of the whole thing, so you guys understand and know exactly where it's going. The resort will be designed, developed to blend into the environment and may include uses as a hotel, condotel, vacation rental or timeshare, floor or minimum transaction privilege tax, and bed tax generated from the resort, regardless of type of use, will be agreed upon by the parties. For example, if the part of the resort is used for other than a traditional hotel, the parties will agree on an average room occupancy and average room rate adjusted for inflation. Per month, an AV or successor hotel operator will pay the city an amount not less than the CPT and bed tax that would have been generated, but for all the part of the resort not being used, traditional the resort will be entitled to an at-grade crossing over and across the Peavine Trail. So that's what I was talking about. Subject to topographic and safety considerations, the allocation of the city's choosing between their parcel H and K on Exhibit A adjoining to the Peavine Trail, and obviously once again, I got the whole thing right here. It's amazing, guys. So yeah, let me go ahead and just show you, just because we have those capabilities, Eric. You see how
technology, right?
How is my voice doing? Does it sound echoey?
You could use it. Yeah, you could use a better microphone, but your video is good.
Better microphone. I think it's because of this down all this stuff. I got a metal freaking thing right behind you, so that could be the issue. And then it's just like blah. Hopefully, Eric, I'm going to tell everybody about this. But anyways, here you guys go. This is the picture that was sent into this letter of intent, so you guys know exactly what is happening. And this was I felt like it was a great deal made. Hopefully everybody's happy and everybody can move on, and we can go ahead and have a moderation bill rather than a like money grabbing bill, because that's kind of one of the things that we want to do to preserve Prescott, Arizona. But a lot of people said also, I don't know if you've seen it, but the mayor of Prescott Valley came out and said, guys, let me tell you what our growth rate is. It's nothing like the rest of the country or even in Arizona at 1%, but I don't know what that 1% is equal to or whatever. Like 1% of a million, 1% of 1,000, 100,000, 500,000. What's the percentage?
Well, I think it's 1%. I think Prescott Valley is what, 80,000 people, if not more. Is that it? Is it 80? I can't remember their numbers.
No, 48,000.
Is it okay? So it's 1% of what it was last year. So that's what the 1% is. And they're saying that Chino and Prescott itself grew more than that. And so I guess the challenge I have on that is, did we get 1% more roads? Because we need it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's see what happens, because that was the number one thing, is that the infrastructure needs to be better. I mean, once again, somebody will say, and I can go ahead and attest to this. Back in the day, they were only taking 7 minutes, guys, from Prescott to Prescott Valley. Now imagine that. It was so beautiful back in the day when there was no traffic. And now it's like 35, 45-minute drive, guys. And so the reason being is because there's all these stoplights on Highway 69. The back road is actually better, but you obviously have to travel out of your way maybe to go down that road. But the infrastructure is a little bit. It needs a little bit of love, man. And I feel like Prescott Valley is actually starting to do that. If you guys haven't seen the development of the, I think it's, what is that road called? It's right down the center, guys. Anyway, they're starting to develop that. You guys can see the bridge being built over by the backside of Robert Road, and I feel that's going to be another little road from 69 to 89A. So that can help out with a little bit of what would you say? It would help out. I think it would help out a lot. But once again, even the infrastructure roads inside of Prescott Valley are just rough, man. I don't know if you've ever been out there. You would drive on a road and it's like, who did this? Like, who did this road? This road is. It felt like a bunch of kids just went out there and like, hey, and started patting a bunch of mud out there. It looked so bad. So hopefully they do some things for that.
We got Stephanie commenting on here. She's having a hard time hearing you, so we got to get that microphone fixed.
Oh, she is?
Yeah.
See how it is? You know what? Maybe let's do this one. Let's see, microphone. All right, Eric, how about that?
I think it's the same.
It's the same?
It's the same.
Dang it, man. All right, guys. I got the way to do it real. Let's see, my phone. High definition.
All right.
Wow.
Is that
That's
better?
awesome. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Okay. Better.
Much better. I have to turn you down now. All right.
Sorry, guys. Hey, so there's things happening. I mean, technical difficulties all the time, but that's the way we live. We're not by the books, guys. So you know what, Eric? There was another sad story that happened over the weekend, but the best part about this is that the actual town of Prescott came together. Like they actually came together. And if you guys didn't hear about the sad story of the child that got hit, it was released by Prescott Valley, I think, on May 22nd, 2020 at 9:02 a.m. Prescott Valley Police Department officers were dispatched to an automobile versus pedestrian accident in front of Jen's 7th Avenue restaurant. Way to go ahead and put the name out there. It's right there in front of Jen's. So I don't know if that's good publicity or bad publicity, whatever. Highway 69 in Prescott Valley. According to witness, a child darted out into the street when he was struck by a Ford F-150 truck. The child was dragged approximately 10 feet after the impact. The driver of the truck immediately stopped after the accident and remained on scene. Officers in Central Arizona Fire Medical Authority arrived on scene to stabilize the child. The child was then flown via a helicopter to Phoenix Children's Hospital. Officers are currently investigating the accident along with assessing any impairments of the truck driver. At the time of the release, the child's condition was reported a non-life-threatening per staff at Phoenix Children's Hospital. And I don't know if you guys were seeing, Facebook was blowing up with this information as far as like what do you call it?
A GoFundMe they're doing that, and I think they raised their goals.
They actually it was kind of crazy. Just from what my acknowledgement, it was set at 15, and then it came back in and it went set back up to 25,000. And I can only imagine that was just probably the helicopter ride to Phoenix, man.
Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking. Especially Phoenix Children's, not a cheap situation.
Yeah, so I don't feel like that. 25,000. I don't know if that's going to help with PTSD and you know, from what I've seen, I guess he has to wear a boot. And there was nothing really wrong with him. But you know, we could go ahead and look that up real quick to figure out if there's something that.
It's good to hear he's okay. I think he's still in the hospital though.
Yes, he's definitely in the hospital. And another tragic, you know, scenario this weekend. We still do not know what happened to Coach Mueller, but he passed away this weekend, which is really sad. Had an opportunity to interview him based off of what we did last year. We did kind of like a tug of war match between the jockeys of Arizona Downs and the jocks of the football team, and he was more than happy to go ahead and put it together. But it's kind of sad, man. Poor coach. He was a good guy, man. From what I've gathered off him, and also an outstanding coach. That was actually heartbreaking to see this weekend. Some of this stuff, man, I'm not trying to be sad, guys. I'm not trying to be sad. It's just that it was a sad weekend as far as like, you know.
But a bunch of people graduated from all the high schools this weekend, so you know there's some big stuff now. They're off to bigger and better things. They're free of school. You know, school's over too. Don't forget. So not just the high school graduates, everybody's out. So there's no online school either right now.
That's awesome. So I think that we have a couple of things that we did this weekend. We actually sent your daughter a video, and I felt like it was better for Ceci to do this because, you know, obviously a female to female, and I said, you know, you're going to have to give her whatever type of like information that you want, and I was like, this is all on you. And so we actually have 5 or 6 takes, man. It's so funny. And I was like, you know, doing my whole like, hey, this is me, San Martin, and then she goes, why are you introducing us? Like, this is not a talk show host. And I was like, okay, this is all on you. I'll just hold the camera and I'll finish whatever you say. And so, anyways, man, it was cool to go ahead and give, you know, some information or some, like, you know, inspiration. And the video that you sent, Eric, was awesome because everybody, almost every one of the people on there all had the same the same information to give to her. And it's just like, just follow your dreams, just, be happy with it. And also get a job that, people that you will love.
Yeah. Yeah. That you love. That was, I want to thank everybody for doing that. That was awesome. And hopefully all the other graduates are getting some really good advice, and their summer's starting off right. I mean, I remember my senior year and graduation, and that was some great times. So hopefully they can have those same moments, even though it's kind of a mess right now.
Yeah. And you know what's happening this weekend, Eric?
What's happening this weekend?
Man, they're doing the freaking first ever drive-through.
Drive-in. Yeah.
Drive-in. It's going to be it's going to be a simple one. It's going to be Lilo and Stitch, but just the idea is just amazing. And I don't know if you've seen it again, Eric, but they ended up doing we started one in Prescott called the Moonlight Park movies.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, this is going to be awesome. So everybody's coming up with some great ideas, so we can go ahead and happily do the socially disconnect physical
distancing is what it should be. Yeah. Nobody wants to socially disconnect, right? I think that's where we went wrong.
Yeah, we definitely do want to do that, man. That's something that.
So I got to ask. I saw pictures of you at the different places downtown, things like that. So what is your report for the places that are open, and how was it?
Okay, so it was awesome. I mean, it was kind of weird because it doesn't seem the same. It doesn't seem like everybody is. It's just weird. It's just weird. Because every place that you go to, you're going to have a wait. You're going to have to wait for them to obviously clean the location, and then you obviously have to fight back the feeling of wanting to have somebody with a mask on. Then you have to listen to them with the mask on. But a lot of places in Prescott, a lot of the people weren't wearing masks, so it was actually easier for us to listen to them and hear them. And we didn't care if they wore a mask or not, because I wasn't wearing a mask. But the Lazy G is the first place that we went to. Ceci was taking her team out. And just having a day out, and I just was able to tag along, and it was actually a lot of fun to be there on the patio. It was a great time. It's summertime, so we were getting the whole summertime effect feeling. It felt great, man. Then we left from there and went downtown. Realized that we cannot go into the meadery with somebody that's underage. Well, we were with one of the girls, and she's 18 or 19 or something like that, and she's not allowed to be down there. So didn't know that. So we weren't able to go ahead and enjoy the meadery. And a lot of places are not sit down yet. So you got to understand that the bars are not open. The only bars that are open are the ones that are selling food. So we were able to enjoy the Lazy G. They had food, so we enjoyed their food and also the beer that they have brewed right there on the spot. So that was kind of cool. I liked it. It was fun. It was a good time.
I love the outdoor seating. I hope more places come up with the outdoor seating, because especially up here, right?
Yeah. We also stopped by Limoncello. Stopped by.
Because I got to shout out, because did you get the limoncello shot at the end of the meal?
Yes. We ended up getting one of those.
That's where you go, right?
Yeah, that's exactly where you go. It's amazing. The taste of it is just this. It's just amazing. I don't know. It tastes like it. It's probably too. I think it's Everclear, which is in there, which is 101 proof. So
I don't know. It's going to kick, and they sell it now by the bottle, which is something they weren't able to do before. And so I actually know somebody who got it for their birthday.
Oh, that's
so yeah, it's a cool little treat.
Yeah. I mean, it would definitely taste good on some ice cream. I ain't gonna lie, that stuff is amazing. And then we went to the Back Alley Wine Bar. And then we went down the alleyway, which, guys, if you guys don't know, they're going to be turning that alleyway into an event scenario, and that's kind of where it's just going to have
I got a question for you. Are they going to shut it down to traffic? Is it just going to be a walkway?
The alleyway?
Yeah.
It will be shut down to traffic, obviously, on the days of events, but it will also it's also a fire lane, so that will help the structures of downtown Prescott if it need be, and plus it's also the location where all the trash cans are. So
in San Martin, so just so everybody knows, we've talked about this. So the county doesn't want any more. It doesn't really want the fairs on the courthouse lawn anymore, right? And so the chamber did it over in their empty lot over behind their thing today, or this past weekend. And so I think the city is looking for places to have these events since they can't do it on the county courthouse very often anymore. And so that back alley is one of the areas behind the chamber. And then also they're talking about completely renovating the creek area, Granite Creek right there from actually up by Lazy G or the Wilder House right there, all the way up to the hotel. That they want to do like pop-ups there and events and all the booths and all the other stuff they want to do along that whole creek area.
Yeah, called the Creek Walk.
Creek Walk. I love the idea. It's so pretty down there.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely pretty down there. I mean, I lived right on the creek on several different locations in Prescott, so it is very beautiful. I mean, some of the things, my best memories are in downtown Prescott, so that's going to be a very cool and awesome addition to Prescott. And once again, they do want everybody to stay off that green lawn up there because it actually costs a lot to maintain. But there still will be events. It's just a matter of just finding out which ones.
Not as many, right? Yeah.
So that was actually pretty cool. It was a great weekend, man. I really, really enjoyed hanging out in Prescott, Arizona, and just being a part of this downtown scene. And it looked like it was very busy, man. Very, very busy. So that was kind of cool. I really liked it. It's something that made me feel good, and I didn't even know what else to say about it besides it just made me feel good. So Eric, I've been looking online, and I just realized that my updates for the COVID-19, they're not really updating as fast as they are supposed to. So I'm kind of wondering what the heck's going on.
That might be worth a phone call into the county health department and see what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. It could be that she just said, "I'm taking 3 or 4 days off, guys."
I know she wanted to. Yeah,
figure it out on your own.
I think that information right now is key because we've opened back up and we need to watch it closely just so we know what's going on. I would hate for us to run into a situation where we have to close down again because that's not good. So if they monitor it closely enough, then we can make changes without being a complete shutdown. Again.
And the numbers were still staying at 283 as far as the positive. And I guess they are. Well, I guess this past weekend they did a blitz thing down on Spectrum. I thought they actually stopped doing them. So sorry about that, guys. I didn't even know.
I still want to see you go filming getting the antibody test.
Probably would not do that on I was like, no.
I was on a conference call with somebody who had the other test before they went into the hospital for a surgery, and they said, yeah, that swab test is always is not fun.
Eric, I actually met somebody that did the antibody test, and they had COVID.
Really?
And I said, well, when were you sick? And she said in January, man.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wow, I was blown.
And I've been watching it, San Martin, is they are close to be able to do home antibody tests. And so I'll probably do the home antibody test when that becomes available.
Okay, so, I mean, I know that they were reporting, but they actually did report, and I'm going to move this camera around a little bit so I can read this. So they are talking about herd immunity, and is it possible with COVID-19? So this is kind of a new thing that we have not been talking about in Yavapai County, but here it is, guys. Our bodies build up an immunity by producing antibodies and recognizing and fight off an infection from invading pathogens such as COVID-19. Our body can build up these antibodies naturally after you're exposed to and sickened by the virus, or you can receive a vaccine that elicits the same antibody response without the infection, which is kind of weird because you're infecting them. How you get it without the infection? Is that because you don't get all the mucus and all that stuff? Immunity often means you're protected from a repeat infection. Plus, you won't pass the disease to others. Someone who is immune to the measles, for example, won't unknowingly spread the disease. Instead, most viruses spread when an infected and contagious person encounters another person who is not immune to the particular virus. According to Johns Hopkins University of Medicine, to reach herd immunity for COVID-19, likely 70% or more of the population would need to be immune without a vaccine. Over 200 million Americans would have to get infected before we reach this threshold. After put another way, even if the current pace of COVID-19 pandemic continues in the United States with over 25,000 confirmed cases a day, it will be well into 2021 before we reach herd immunity. If currently daily death rates continue, over 500,000 Americans will be dead from COVID-19 by that time. Wow, talk about some deadly stuff.
So much for not being doom and gloomy. Thanks, bud.
I know, right? Today is one of those days, guys. You know what? Let's just go ahead and be real. That is too real for us. But you know what? It's here. It actually was written. It was actually sent to us. What's unknown, I'm going to read the rest of this, and then we can go ahead and chat about it, Eric. But what's unknown is how long immunity lasts. And only 6 months into the outbreak, there was no way to know. If it's for life, then every survivor will add to a permanent block against the pathogen spread. But if immunity is short, as it is for the common coronavirus, COVID-19 could set itself up for a seasonal super flu with a high fatality rate, one that emerges every winter. The alternative to the herd immunity strategy is to test, trace, and isolate. And so, as we've been talking about it, Apple and Google have officially launched the new Trace.
Oh, a lot of people are freaked out about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I actually read I watched an actual video on it, and the positives of this tracing, and it's kind of like a pro and a con. So basically, if you were in a place within 30 feet, at first I was saying 6 feet or 5 feet or whatever, they will be registering that. But if you were in a position of 30 feet from this person, that these tokens that are taken from your phone will be able to make you be in that location at that set time. And if one person decides that they have COVID, well, not decides that they have COVID, automatically gets COVID,
right?
They will have to press the button on their phone, and that phone will go ahead and trace everywhere that person has been, and then will also calculate or tell them who else was next to them at that point in time. And then those people will be alerted if they chose to be in the actual app. And you have a choice, they said. So
and San Martin, I mean, yeah, I see the benefits, but at the same time, I mean, also see the fear, right, related to tracking. But I wish people knew that your phone is tracking your every movement anyway. I mean, literally, Google is in the background, Apple is in the background. They know if you were running today, they know if you were driving, they know, every place that you've been, and it's all recorded. And then that, of course, so does your cell phone carrier, so does, 4 or 5 other parties. Any apps that are installed on your phone can do it. So this is not that far out of the realm of what it's already doing.
Yeah.
So if no one can leave your phone at home.
Now they're being open about it. So that's the ticker right there, that they're actually being open about this. And, once again, guys, it's one of those things where it's control to acknowledge what is happening, and I feel like it's once again a pro and a con. Like, for instance, if you do have a person that doesn't unknowingly care about anybody else, and they're just running around like, I don't care, and then they start running around and infecting everybody, and it could just be like a detrimental thing, because there's a lot of weird people out there. And I actually watched some Netflix, man, and it's don't F with your cats. Don't F with your cats, or don't something with cats. And in that documentary, Eric, I suggest you watch it.
Oh, no, is it another Tiger King?
No, man. This is actually one of the most craziest stories I have ever heard in my entire life. So you know how videos go viral, right? Videos go viral, and sometimes you don't even know where the video has originated from. So this video was a very, 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 it was bad. It was a bad video. And I don't even know if I'm allowed to say things like this on this show, but it was bad. It was an animal cruelty video. And it was like nobody knew who it was. The guy was making, fake accounts everywhere. And these people on Facebook decided to go ahead and figure out who this person was, because the authorities could not pinpoint it, because they couldn't just figure it out themselves. And it would have cost thousands of dollars just to figure out and find this guy for the animal cruelty that they were doing. But the bad problem about this whole thing was that it was an actual characteristic trait that was sending this guy into another level of being a serial killer. And it just like, wow, it wowed me. But anyways, these people took it to Facebook and decided to go ahead and figure this out. And then it just went viral from there. And they actually found the person, I think. And I mean, I got past the first freaking episode, so I can't even know what happened in the second one. But man, I tell you what, it is sickening. It's a sickening, man. And to acknowledge, some of the things that people do out there, it happens. So you know what? I feel like this could be protective. I feel like it could be good, but at the same time, once again, our information is being given to everybody. And who's to say that if you don't want that, people are just going to leave their freaking phones at home?
Well, right, and that's the key. And I don't think people realize how much power the tracking sucks from your phone. So, our batteries have gotten better, our batteries have gotten smarter, but talk time and phone time hasn't seemed to gone up, right? It's because all these apps in the background are doing these kind of things. And that's why I laugh. I actually read an article this weekend that 25% of people believe that we're going to get tracking microchips. Do you know how much power they would suck to do that? You'd have to have a battery pack the size of your fist implanted in yourself too to power something to track and broadcast to you. Maybe in 20 years the technology will be there, but today it's not.
I don't know, man. It's insane with all the things that are happening. So, I mean, just imagine if you were able to go ahead and track all this information, you probably would be able to go ahead and stop a lot of bad things. And let's see what happens. I mean, can we stop anything? I mean, if we do stop stuff, I feel like there's going to be people that are for it and the people that are against it, and then all of a sudden we have I feel like we kind of already have.
Yeah, you got to divide. But okay, so speaking of stopping, so can you stop the 91-degree weather this week?
No, sure can't. The only way I can stop it is if you just find a nice shady tree in Prescott and just sit underneath them, my friend. That's the only way.
Things have been great. I've been enjoying the weather. I've been enjoying being outside. But that 91-degree, for some reason, it just does something.
Yeah, most definitely.
Okay. Well, great, my friend. All right, do you want to wrap this up? I lost your audio.
Yeah, I can definitely wrap it up. But anyways, thank you guys for joining us today, and I appreciate everything that you have done for me, Eric. And once again, let's get this 4-day work week done, and you guys are going to see me at a new location, quite possibly the Porch. And if you guys don't know what the Porch is, it's a coffee spot. And shout out to today's sponsor, Tri-City Computers out there in Prescott Valley. Greg, you're awesome. And if you guys need a used computer that is rebuilt, that's a place for you. That's a place for me. That's how we do it. But thank you guys. Thank you, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Wilder House, Eric Knight. And congratulations to all the graduates out there. Appreciate you guys.
You forgot your sign off.
Peace, love, and happiness.